My name is Jeremy Holt. I'm a partner in Clark Holt Commercial Solicitors. I've worked in IT law for the last 30 years. I helped edit the first edition of the Manager's Guide to IT Law in 2004, and now we have the new edition coming out this year. What prompted me was that the law had changed considerably. The sales of the first edition, much to our surprise, had gone very well, and the BCS, Chartered Institute for IT, was keen to have another edition. I think, looking back on it, I've been very lucky in that I've only ever written one book. That book was published, and even fewer people have a second edition of the book that they've got ready. So in some ways I've regarded it almost like a third child. It's something that you sort of create, and then it goes off and you look to see what effect it has on other people. And then people come back and ask if you can update the work that you've done in the past. 30% of the book is completely new. There are 4 new chapters on cloud computing, open source, the Waste Electric and Electronic Equipment regulations, and the Freedom of Information Act. The original idea with the book was that if you were getting into a taxi with a managing director and he said to you, "I don't understand this stuff about open source. We've got half an hour before we get to the meeting. Talk to me about the legal aspects of open source." Each of the chapters of the book would be designed to be what you would say to the managing director in the taxi in that half an hour period. So it would be a basic guide. It wouldn't have lots of section numbers, wouldn't have lots of case names in there, but it would be designed to give the recipient a good basic knowledge of the law in that area. Slightly surprisingly, we found that the first edition sold very well amongst students. So this edition is targeted at managers principally, but also at IT professionals and at students as well, because it has sold very well with students. It's a good question, and it's an old chestnut that I've often heard people discuss. It isn't really a completely separate area of law. I would accept that. You can only get involved and give advice in the area if you've got a knowledge of the basic legal principles that underpin it, such as contract law, such as copyright law. Increasingly, as time goes on, there are areas that are completely new and that don't piggyback on some of the legal concepts that we're all used to over the last 150 years, particularly as new legislation comes in. And you can only advise in the area if you've got a nodding acquaintance with the technology that's coming in. I enjoy it because, to put it bluntly, law is quite a dull profession, staffed by pretty dull people. So if you want to have a bit more of an exciting life and work time, some of the sort of gloss and the glamour that goes with people who work in IT can be transported over to the legal advisors who advise in that area. That's right. I mean, it has sold amongst lawyers, I'm told, but they're a relatively small percentage of the population. I'm a strong believer in trying to make the law accessible. I'm a strong believer in plain English drafting of legal documents, and the book is one of the methods that I've used to try to spread a greater public understanding of what the law is in a particular area.